realize, whether it be Rooney likes to wide swing angles a lot here on Haven. Maybe they'll do that on Breeze or Fracture or something. But I do think a best of 3 is a little bit more comfortable in terms of being able to play these types of games, because you at least know you also get a redemption round, so a redemption game.
And these guys, no strangers when it comes to the best of 3s. And like you said, redemption on the table should they need it. But we jump on into it. Loser goes home in 3rd place. They're going to be walking away with $2,000. The winner has a chance at either $8,000 or $4,000. It all starts here on Haven. It's Dark Ratio on the defense. And 3 defenders out towards A early in this one. Oxy, the new kid on the block for Dark Ratio, and their top performer throughout the weekend. So that raid is going to be somebody to watch.
Interesting, too, because Dark Ratio actually tend to do this a lot in their playstyles here on Haven. They're very slow to the pushes on the pistol rounds. They like to wait and read into the situation at first so that they can read into their opponent. And that kind of gives them that really nice entry onto the site here. They know exactly where these players are residing.
Yeah, and get a nice little read, right? Hey, where's that breach playing? Can I plant safely here? Am I going to be pushed away from an aftershock? And not going to be the case. We finally do get that aftershock to come through, and it clears out Bunny. Unfortunately, nobody home as Rooney collects the first. Good flash will force Pure into the corner, and it's Oxy to collect 1 of 2 kills on the round. But that spike, it's still ticking down. Dark Ratio still have to make a move here, Gom.
Oh, yeah, already with a push-up. Sean getting lucky with a classic, but, I mean, you can't get as lucky as you can get here for Dark Ratio. A 1v2 situation, though, as, I mean, majority starts to decline, and it's Pure kind of just closing that up with the 3K. So the Frenzy, meta, whatever, that comes in, and it just completely wipes the board.
Do you think a Pure is conceding to the casters by the name there, or do you think he still prefers the Pure R? Because it's Pure Redfish is the name drawn out, but shortened to Pure R.
Purer. Wait, I said purer.
Purer, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. And it's, I wonder if he's leaning a certain way, because you even see it there on the server, right? It's a lowercase r. I think he says, I'm not Pure R anymore. I am Pure.
I would think if it's there, it's there.
If it's there, it's there. straight from Gompers herself. If it's there, it's there. Believe it. That is Gompers Nindo way.
Oh my gosh. Like, if he didn't want it there, I mean, like, just saying. Just saying.
Well, fortunately, we get to go back and forth on Pure versus Pure R, because we are just in this anti-eco drone. Spotted out on the flank. I don't think you can expect a whole lot from this Dark Ratio squad. I say that. Okay, and a couple of right clicks later. Oh, Rooney able to collect a kill from fall damage. That never feels good. And around that, looks scary for just a second. Aftershock re-equips there. Good stun. Ainge finds a second kill on the round with the classic. And at the end of the day, it's not Drone's job to win the round here in the 1v2.
Yeah.
It's looking for more damage, and look how much they did. Reinvestment in shields for both Rooney and Crunchy, and the rest of the squad have to rebuy if they want to have any potency in this bonus here, Gompers.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think the way that Soniqs is playing here as well is tremendous. I mean, even with the Spectres owning up to that respect and now buying into those 3 Vandals. So I think this is going to be not really a bonus round at this point, as they're buying and kind of investing into this 3rd round. I think Soniqs is trying to push themselves a little bit further to gain that lead, but risky as well, right? Those 2 Spectres could change things, especially if, you have all 3 of your Vandals kind of just going down.
And it could definitely flip the economy on its head for Soniqs, but you talked about, riding the high off of the EG victory to qualify for this matchup in yesterday's game. So maybe feeling that confidence to just push on forward. And it's slow once more. Nice little 5-point stance across the map. Expecting some aggression out towards C long. So Crunchy going to be holding that angle, but nobody pushing down just yet. Giza planted firmly on that C site for now.
Yeah, not left alone either. You can see a rotation come in from Dark Ratio. You got Trick kind of along down inside of this garage, so is going to be able to catch somebody out, playing with that trip as well. Just waiting for the perfect moment. And Joy is going to be able to at least cut that off and get the entry in. They know they made this noise, so they got to go in as fast as they can.
And Giza, okay, well, maybe not. I was going to say, he's in a bad spot, gets stunned up, now taken down, but Trick, remember that had rotated over, was able to find one. So equalized as Soniqs hit this C site. Rooney playing out, not out towards mid, just inside the garage here. Wants to play the close angle and is about to be back-to-back with the fade of Dark Ratio. And are they expecting this one here? Pushing up, it's Chomp to collect the frag, and Rooney not even needed. Rolling Thunder available, and unfortunately for Oxy, he's put in a bad spot. Rooney finally able to make good on the positioning, and Dark Ratio have absolutely nothing to show for this round. They're forced to save, Gomp.
Yeah, like I said, the investments just work. I feel like they had the economy to invest in the third round. They said, why not? Why would we throw away, you know, a round that could be winnable? And rightfully so. Once again, taking a quiet approach in the attack, being able to get themselves onto the site as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And the strat kind of breaking, right? The little trip that we saw from the chamber and being able to realize, okay, we made noise, let's move in on this. And I mean, the execution was pretty much perfect after that.
And working wonders on that hit, Giza. Yet to find something for the squad on this chamber. Obviously in a really tough spot. I didn't see what the rendezvous situation was in that last round, but either way, wanted to try and stay steady and firm on that site. Didn't want to just TP with nothing and play that retake. Obviously a hindsight call. Could have been, you know, maybe we do just play that one a little bit safer. But with that, Soniqs not punished for their reinvestment into that bonus round. Oof, and there's the TP to safety. Giza backing away after spotting a couple of players out towards C long. Paint Shell is out. All this util dumped. And they don't really have the weapons to stop this push, Comp. They're just going to 5-man it.
But yeah, the 5-man comes down to it. It's not working out well for anybody here on Dark Ratio. Soniqs just continuously getting these picks through. And having the up, you'd think that there would be more of a disadvantage here. But honestly, it kind of created an advantage. There was some of that scare tactic coming through. And Joy obviously proving to be pretty efficient with it. And watching the CT side angle. Yeah, pretty much over.
Nice little team ace there at the end. Oxy, the lone soldier for Dark Ratio. The lone doctor on the server, and it just wasn't enough. That is one of those things that, you know, it just be like that. They got lesser weaponry. Let's just run at them. What can they really do? Especially with, obviously, you always have to fear what that chamber brings to the squad with just the headhunter alone. But with Giza having a slow start, I think Soniqs are good to just continue to challenge this chamber. Now, it'll be a little more difficult to challenge in this round because he does have the operator in his hands. This may be the round where he becomes unacquainted with Owen. Either way, I'm expecting Giza to have some influence on this round for Dark Ratio.
Yeah. But Enjoy has been having some pretty heavy influence too. So for comparing the two chamber ops, I mean, Giza starting to pull that one out. Maybe things will change, but we'll have to see on the move of down this A long. And once again, another quiet approach. It's interesting how well these work too, because you kind of lure in these players from Dark Ratio to get this rotation in, and it just leaves Enjoy wanting at least that first-hand pick.
Yeah, and that stings, right? There's no teleport out for Enjoy, but he's somehow allowed to survive. No trade potential for Dark Ratio. And just like the 4 rounds prior to this one, they're down a player. Now we swap. The night falls, and it's the scare floor here as they're trying to fill up all the kills with the screams. And Dark Ratio are actually doing it. A backstab from Enjoy since swapped on over to a rifle. Now going to grab that operator once more. And 3 players playing off the site, right into the sight lines of Giza. Enjoy will fall, and now it's all up to Rooney to try and pick up the pieces with the spike in hand in 25 seconds. And this, it would take a miracle here, Gompers.
Yeah, you said Giza was going to at least add some impact here for Dark Ratio once that up came out, and I believe you. Just waiting and being very obedient here kind of just leads them towards that round win. It looked like Soniqs could pull it back together, but I mean, losing one isn't really going to be the most efficient way to win the round. But that was a lot of util expended onto the site. You saw so much Fade utility come out. You saw the Prowler. You saw that Nightfall come through. And now that ultimate is completely gone. And they can't use it for the future rounds. But yeah, Rooney getting taken down. Still looking for some.
It would have been nice to find a couple of kills on the way out. Does manage to find one, however. And you can see what it does to the economy of Dark Ratio. Not in the best place, but everybody's still able to reinvest some way, somehow. Looks like Oxy going to be without a boom bot, but he's got a rocket launcher. So I think he'll sacrifice his body for the information with the boom box on his shoulder here in this next round.
You want to play? Let's
I think
play.
eventually that's what they're going to have to commit to, something a little bit more aggressive than what they're putting out there, because in reality, they're just waiting here for Dark Ratio for that push to come through and just playing it more so into the hands of Soniqs. But already, yeah, this is what I want to see. That push coming up down A long here for Dark Ratio and potential for that showstopper.
Yeah, already taken a lot of space here. And if they see Oxy, will they expect Trick to be pushed all the way up? Enjoy holding the angle with the operator. They know something's up, or that there's a possibility of it, because they put nothing out towards A long. This is going to be an area that they have to try and re-clear. And Oxy, he's getting the springs going. He's warming up the knees, getting ready to leap into the air. The Prowler will sniff him out, but again, are they worried about Trick here? No, they're not. That's the spike down through the nebulous smoke. Pure there to trade. Here comes the rocket, but Pure sits him down. Oxy gets absolutely nothing with the angle that he had held, and Soniqs find themselves a player ahead once more. Stuck inside the stun as Giza, the rocket on the opposite side, the Rolling Thunder try and slow things down, but it only gives more air, more sight lines. No way, the rocket misses. They're allowed to survive for now, but Dark Ratio got a battle back in, a player down.
Oh, and it was the right approach, too. It was the right approach for Dark Ratio. They just got completely ratioed by the util. Rooney, really great with the Prowlers. I mean, that information was dire, because in reality, it could have gone the other way around, but up to Crunchy now to figure out what is going to happen here. And, I mean, Pure really is just trying to clutch up the situation. Turns out Soniqs just aren't giving up just yet.
That's heartbreaking, especially when you have the hindsight that we have, right? Where you're like, hey, Oxy, just shoot the rocket, man. Into spawn, you'll kill all 5. You know, just shoot it and you'll kill all 5. And then eventually it doesn't work out. Trick, not disciplined enough in taking that first fight. Gets his 1, and obviously you would expect maybe a bit more from Oxy and that rocket. But Pure, good to sit the raise down. Knows what's going on. Understands, you know, what's about to happen. And doesn't let any shenanigans on through. And with that, the economy reset from Dark Ratio. They'll play aggressively out towards mid fault line. On to Enjoy. Who, Enjoy, it has, I feel, in the past, kind of been a coin flippy player on the day. It depends really on how he's feeling on the day or how he's feeling on the map. Nice shot from Giza, however, speaking of Chambers. And throughout this weekend, Enjoy has been a standout player for the squad, and that's exactly what you need from this chamber, especially when we get into the maps where you're running the no duelist comps and you are putting a lot of, you know, fragging prowess or fragging potential in the hands of Enjoy.
Yeah, a good chamber can change up a lot of things, the momentum, the pacing, whatnot, and especially, you know, coming out with the operator, how I discussed prior, it's not really too trustworthy, in my opinion, but if you're confident enough, it could work out, like, exponentially. Enjoy already getting confident enough to peak, and, I mean, as we see things completely unfold, it's just almost impossible for Dark Ratio to get the entry, and everybody down in a matter of seconds, and it was initially that confidence that came out, even though Enjoy, you know, having the op, they're still willing to peak these.
Yeah, and Haven is a map that I thought everybody in the tournament, or I would say the 3 teams that we have left in the tournament, look pretty good. City Boys look great on Haven. As for Soniqs and Dark Ratio, they look pretty good on this map too. They look comfortable, and it seems like they've, you know, as the weekend has progressed, they've worked through the kinks and managed to figure out ways to secure victory on this map. So I thought we would get something a bit closer in way of scoreline early in this one. Dark Ratio coming out maybe a little exhausted after, you know, 9 maps played in the 3 best of 3s. I think 5 of which went to overtimes. They had a really grueling route to get here, where Soniqs are just happy to be here, and, well, they're happy to be on the C site once more. Maybe not the happiest is their player down, almost making it 2 is Enjoy there to trade things out. Shots through the box. We'll find one more. Now Giza, the Lone Warrior, tour de force. Maybe the best weapon for your chamber to have in a situation like this, but the spike is planted, and Soniqs, again, they pick up the pieces. They somehow find themselves a player ahead in situations like this, and with the barrel spotted, I mean, Giza's given absolutely nothing. They're forcing this sole defender to make a play, to walk into the sight lines, and instead he'll find a body shot onto Enjoy. Unexpected of the angle. Now the footsteps being heard. Tour de Force is out. Rooney is there, and Rooney will find the round win. Soniqs grab 7.
Oh, a tremendous play, honestly, from Rooney. Able to pick up an op as well for, you know, this type of situation where, okay, Enjoy, you can have it back. Please enjoy it. But,
yeah.
you know, good in that sense. Giza was really close to it, too. I feel like having the Tour de Force was kind of like a more so of a letdown just because, you know, you're in a 1v1 situation. You need really quick reaction times. And it's not really that easy to be able to scope in with, you know, in that quick sense. So things not really working out. But overall, I mean, Soniqs just looking extremely good with that 7-1.
And Soniqs looking good. Disciplined in their attacks. I love this as well. Early in the pistol round, right? They threaten this B site, they take this B site, and they make it work. Now it's always got to be in the back of the mind of Dark Ratio that they can do it. And if it wasn't in the back of your mind, it is now. Now you have to think about this B site being an issue. It's not just A, it's not just C. You're going to have to put more here. And unfortunately, more is not what they have. Sometimes less can be more in Valorant, right? Sometimes these sheriffs can get the work done, just like we're seeing here. Now a rifle picked up. Pure low HP was actually getting spammed through the wall and eventually will fall. Now Rooney, the last one standing. Giza, though, has the operator in his hands. Shot doesn't land. Now gonna hop onto the spike. You can see that it's red.
Nice.
And Rooney reads it perfectly. The 1v1 between Rooney and Giza once more will go the way of Soniqs. And it's an 8th on the board. There's so many options for this team. Whether it's splitting C, whether it's just 5-manning C, they've split A. They've shown that they can successfully hit this B site. Soniqs look really scary on this map.
I liked, although I think it could have worked out for Dark Ratio, I just feel like there was a lot of rushing going on here because, of course, of that spike plant. Like, you want to try to secure these angles real fast, and if we're looking at this replay, right, you saw that flank coming in from Rooney. I mean, from Trick, my apologies. And he was really trying to get himself in there, especially with, it was kind of like a sandwich in with somebody coming out garage, which was Ange, and Trick coming out, you know, of course, the other side.
And this is that C split that we talked about. We go 1-for-1 on the site, rolling Thunder before really anything can happen here. Dark Ratio want to try and retake this site, but his drone hops atop the logs. He's fallen like a log himself. It's Pure R there to obtain that kill. Crunchy next up on the docket as the Boombot gets dealt with. It's Giza to take down the Astra. So controller off the table through the Cosmic Divide, though, and we continue to go back and forth. Oh, baby, and it's Shonk and Rooney. Shonk and Rooney to get it done. For a 9th round for Soniqs and Dark Ratio. They just can't even wrap their head around what's going on. They have zero control anywhere.
I don't think I would be able to either. Pure R literally came rushing down inside of Garage, especially with the Cosmic Divide there. So initially, you couldn't even hear much from the other side. And the next thing you know, you see a Raze coming at you full force with a Showstopper. So you're wondering, where do I go from here? And, you know, you're going straight down underneath. So Soniqs, they just have such a great approach and really nice kind of counters to everything that's being put on them.
And the economy situation, it has not been great. And if, you know, this has actually, I think, been the call. Every time that Dark Ratio have been on an awkward buy or awkward economy, let's just 5-man hit this C side. It's a little bit harder when you're pushing through situations like this where there's a lot of util tossed at you. But Ainge's going to be taken down after finding one with the Spectre. Back sight is Trick, and he will fall as well. Enjoy and Shonk just padding the stats, adding a few more tallies towards the ults. And Giza,
Yeah.
well, I was going to say Giza and Oxy, but now it's just Giza.
Yeah, I don't think Giza's gonna walk out of this one alive unless some like type of miracle happens. But actually, looking at everything, you know, I gotta give a little bit more leniency to Dark Ratio because if we're looking at their composition, there isn't a lot of that Sentinel type of hold, right? You're heavily relying on that chamber. I feel like you could use a lot more of that breach util to kind of give those aggressions out so that you can get those early picks. I feel like they're not abusing that as much, especially with Giza being a really good operator player, and I'm not seeing a lot of those like early pushes out, which number one we need to see here if they want to counter the way that Soniqs is playing. But overall, right, this seems like an attack type of composition, which is why it's probably working so well here for Soniqs.
And we do get a little bit of it here in this round for Dark Ratio. Fault line into A short, A sewers, A lobby, and then Giza looks to peek the angle. Yeah, like you're saying, right? In a situation like this, Soniqs obviously defaulting here in this round, but you find that stun, you slow down this attack in taking their space into A lobby, but Dark Ratio aren't taking any themselves. They're just playing incredibly cautiously, and you know, before you know it, Soniqs are going to have that space and have the site.
Yeah, and their positioning gives them no forgiveness in any picks coming out either. So if somebody from Dark Ratio gets picked off, they're very isolated as to where they're going to have to go out of their way to pick those fights instead of, you know, positioning themselves in a way where, okay, this refry can come through. I feel like it's more so, okay, somebody's down garage, somebody's down C site. If that first-hand pick comes through, there's not going to be any of that redemption. So mostly just giving into these early picks, and Joy might actually be able to find one here. Yeah.
Yeah, nice little early pick there. Ainge trying to battle back, steal something away, stunned up. Good fault line from across the map, but it just doesn't matter. And as the rest of the team, again, they try to get into the C site just a little too early. But everybody here in full force for Soniqs. Now Oxy. Rocket in hand, doesn't even matter. Saving it for the next half. 11-1 in favor of Soniqs as we swap sides. And even if you're going to make the argument that this map is good. Listen, I don't, even if you're going to make the argument that, okay, you go.
Well, no, this map is not good. I will say that.
Okay, I was going to say attacker-sided. You can't, you got to hope for 9-3. You got to hope for 8-4. You can't say, yeah, we're going to do it on attack and be down 11-1.
I think overall, all right, we're going to see some of that chance hop in for Dark Ratio, especially now that they're coming into the attack. Things are definitely so uncomfortable for them on the defense, right? So I feel like here we'll be able to see something different, okay? So there is some of that hopium for Dark Ratio. Actually, yeah. I was going to say actually, but I think there is some hopium there.
I'll have what she's having. Chad, I'll have what she's having. Listen.
It's possible, but I will say Soniqs are at a really good place right now.
Yeah, I mean, brick by brick for Dark Ratio. Brick by brick. That is what it will take. Prowler reveals Pure R here. Oh, Flash doesn't actually land, and Paint Shell sees. That's a good combo. Unfortunately, for Soniqs, Drone is able to survive that. So the decay will subside, and he'll tick back up. 74 HP is where he lands after eating some of the paint shells.
And they still take one. A spray through, a smoke, a paint shell to add on to the damage and the flavor. But Dark Ratio aren't having it. They don't know where to go now. They're kind of lingering and trying to rely on what Oxy has heard here down on this A site and leaving it up to Enjoy to clutch this up. But a nice rotation here from Shank. So Shank kind of being that leading factor as to maybe I can use my breach util to stop this would be nice, but the quiet approach might actually counter that.
And Shank Mr. Multi-kill as we crept closer to the half. And look at this, the timing just so good. Fault line hits 3 of 4. Paint shells will force the breach away. However, Enjoy hasn't been spotted. Okay, well now he has. Now he's been taken down. Haunt goes out over the top with the flash, and somehow Oxy still keeping Dark Ratio in this round. The drop from heaven. Rooney there to capitalize, and Crunchy. Now the last one standing. The last one, the sole member of Soniqs, still remaining on the squad. And well, the sole member at the end of that round. It's Dark Ratio to secure it and to add their first brick to paving this road that is their comeback.
Shank had perfect timing with that stun, I gotta be honest with you. Not knowing what is going on the other side, but also kind of feeling like, okay, well, everybody hits A, right? So why not just try for something here? And I mean, I liked it, but Dark Ratio winning the pistol round is huge for them. I feel like this is gonna be kind of like that boosting factor, but they should try to boost up their economy here so that they can maybe even invest in the next round, because that bonus round is gonna be scary.
Yeah, I think what's scary here is Ainge getting a little aggressive with the Phantom, and it's not just classics on the other side, right? A small reinvestment from Soniqs into Sheriffs, and not having the heavy armor, the full shields, that could definitely hurt. That could mean a rifle going the way of Soniqs, especially with Ainge kind of being that anchored, that trailer member watching the flank. But nothing just yet. Dark Ratio a player ahead nice and early in this round, and flawlessly is how they would like to do it. We'll see if flawlessly is the way they do it. No, that's not gonna be it. We go 2 for 2, all said and done, and healthy are Soniqs, the 3 members remaining.
That was unhealthy. That was not okay, in my opinion. That was Shock just completely devoured them through that smoke, and it was all because of that famed util. And that is such wonderful playoff that's probably why Soniqs does so well, but getting completely run down here by these Spectres. Lucky enough, though, that they were actually able to pick off those 2 players. If it wasn't for Shock, some of the economy here for Dark Ratio wouldn't be so dwindled down, and now Soniqs have more of a chance to win this 3rd round.
Is that bonus at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Ainge hangs on to the rifle. The bonus is a bit more potent. And on the opposite side of things, right? Soniqs bringing in those sheriffs. You're going to see a few members rocking either lesser util or lesser shields. You see 3 Vandals coming through with light shields behind it, and Rooney, Shonk, and Pure. So yeah, they get punished for the confidence that they had. Nice shots again from Shonk. Really trying to dig Soniqs from the depths of that round. And in 2 situations, Dark Ratio almost lined up for some sheriff shots, but did not come to fruition. And it's yet another brick along, we'll call it a red brick road because they're on the attacking side instead of a yellow brick road.
Yeah, it feels like the synergy's a little bit more there for Soniqs here with their util. Like, they're using it beautifully. Whether it be, you know, throwing out some fade combination with Raze or trying to play off of Shonk and what they're trying to put out here. But that's one of the issues. It's just Dark Ratio they have the same composition, but that util's just not working the same way that it is for Soniqs.
Oh man, that is okay. I was gonna say heartbreaking. Oxy can't sneak away though. Still is able to collect 1 kill after being seized up, and Shonk also seized, stuck inside the gravity well, but I believe sneaks away before the vulnerability. Still marked up. The flash goes out. The shots, they don't land right away. Now Ainge with that trusty Phantom from round 1 to round 2. And he picks up 1, picks up 2. Enjoy. The last one standing here, and Ainge has the angle, has the kill, and Dark Ratio do it again.
Man, a clutch! A 1v3 situation from Ainge. Completely trusting in their own gameplay and their aim, right? That crosshair placement, number 1, great. And Shonk stunning them, but still being able to come out of that alive. That takes complete skill. And Ainge, I mean, great under the pressure for future reference, right? You can definitely heavily rely on Ainge for moments like these where, you know, the situation gets tight. But I said it, Tanner. I said things were possible for Dark Ratio.
Yeah, and you know, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Hop on the train.
No, I'm not hopping. Listen, I want to say I agreed before. The problem with it, even if you're saying that this is attacker-sided, you have to be perfect going into the half at 11-1, right? It's not 9-3 where you have a bit more wiggle room. So Dark Ratio, that was a close one. And not perfect by any means, but it resets the economy and it puts them in a situation to be able to collect a 5th round. But again, there's so many scenarios where Soniqs are going to have the opportunities and only need to pick up 2 rounds to win. So it's an uphill road for sure. You would love to not be in the situation going into the favored side of the map, you know, down 10 rounds. But Dark Ratio are making it look good. They're making it happen. Shonk gonna try and fish through once more. Rooney to fall, and this round going swimmingly for the Doctors, for Dark Ratio, and going as expected for the team in Soniqs, who are just sitting on a couple of Sheriffs and a Marshal.
Yeah, Soniqs don't seem like they have a good chance here at winning this round, right? You got Sheriffs, and possibly the Marshal could actually carry through, especially with the eco util that Enjoy might be able to carry on. But it seems like everybody well positioned here to the point where if you peek, you're going to be able to meet Oxy here, and your death completely there. It's pretty much unavoidable at this point. Yeah, everybody just wiped down in a second. So this is something that we thought would happen, obviously. But, you know, Dark Ratio carrying that out really nice here.
Yeah, near flawless round there for Dark Ratio. Oxy, the only one to fall, and I think he did it on purpose. He's got his ult now available. I didn't see if he had it on before, but, you know, died for the ult orb is what happened there.
That's okay.
That's okay. We
sometimes you got to go down for the ult orb. You get the ult orb and you go down. That's 2, technically. So big brain strats. Shonk and Rooney having ults though, and this is big. That is such an area of effect, right? So this could play so well into securing that match point. But we've seen Dark Ratio play. You know, Giza bringing that up, very confident that they'll be able to play out and possibly get a pick down short. But the patience here from Soniqs is I think, will pay off.
Again, I'm a believer that this Nightfall is a little bit better when you're defending and cutting, you know, throwing on the earmuffs.
Yeah.
Nice shot from Giza. Enjoy. Just giving up a bit too much. But when you're Rooney to try and slow down this attacking side versus being Trick trying to deafen the defending side, obviously, you know, yeah, they're marked and you can toss out the prowlers and all that stuff. But although they can't hear, they can still watch the angles, right? They can still play the sight lines. So that ult doesn't get a whole lot of value in that way. Speaking of ults getting value, Oxy is going to pop that rocket. And there's just a bit too much base for Shank. He is going to go down, and the boombox does its job. And as for now, Dark Ratio, they're going to find themselves an A side to tap onto the spike just to see if anything comes out. No util dump, and a bit different. Sees nade, finds nothing, and Trick will be allowed to plant.
Soniqs still have a lot of potential here. You said the Fade ult, the Nightfall would be good. I think so too, right? It clears up a lot of these corners. It gives you the information that you need to be able to get these entries in. So in reality, this should work out, but a 3v5, right? It almost seems impossible. Yeah, they're not gonna really attest for that. Instead, they're saving here. They know they need to, but Dark Ratio doing a really good job at bringing themselves back up. They are confident with these entries. They know they can't make these mistakes. Like you said before, it's got to be perfect.
And last round, near flawless. This round,
Yeah.
well, barring anything crazy happening, should be a flawless round, although they are on the hunt. And this is, I think, important for Dark Ratio. Their economy, it's all right to go on the hunt like this.
Yeah.
And for Soniqs, their economy isn't, right? So taking away these weapons would be huge, because now that there are still 2 weapons for the defense, it's not going to... okay, maybe it is. I don't think it warrants a full reinvestment from the rest of the squad, but what it does do is it makes a few more of these angles that much scarier than, you know, if they had the Sheriffs, if they were stuck on Classic. So good on Dark Ratio to try and go hunting. Unfortunate that they didn't strip all those weapons away, and you see what the defense now bring into this, right? 2 rifles, 2 Sheriffs, a Classic, and maybe aggression out towards mid, an early haunt. Finds nothing, and the aggression's gonna be met by the operator, Giza, to take down Shank early in this round. Means another round without a breach ultimate, and another round where Dark Ratio start a player ahead.
Yeah, a lot of sit-by here. Momentum changed dramatically. They haven't even gotten themselves out of spawn yet at this point, but, I mean, now they're trying to fight for this mid, but might be able to reach out Enjoy. And this is going to be good. Never mind. Yeah, Dark Ratio already getting that first pick. They know Enjoy is there. Enjoy lucky enough to be able to retrieve 1, but there's a lot more that needs to go down.
It is the 2 rifles, however. Sees, gonna find Crunchy a bit lower due to the decay. Thrown on the swing. Through the smoke comes Pure R. Now wants more. Flash on the backside. The spin. It was good enough for the minor flash, but not good enough to swing back and find the kill. Drone, 3 kills on the round. And, well, another brick, Converse. Another brick.
7 to 11. That's close. It's getting closer by the second. You went from 1 to 11, I believe, and how many rounds in a row is this? 6? So, yeah, we said it was possible. And they're making the best out of a dirty situation. Even if they lose a round right now, they have so many rounds. If they manage to get 6 again, right? It's pretty much that match point that comes through, that OT that can happen. So if they do it once, they can do it again. So there's a little bit of leeway, but probably that 1% chance that they even wanted to come through. Yeah, Nightfall coming down, and are they going to even use it? Yeah, it seems like.
I mean, Soniqs completely conceding the site, though. That's 2 huge ultimates down that you would love to have in the retake. And now with this, a Nightfall on the backside. So this is obviously going to mark up and put the earmuffs on, but it's going to tell you how many players are here on this site, and I believe 4 marked by it. Oxy postured aggressively towards the defender-sided spawn in this C-Link area, but not going to commit just yet. Instead, Dark Ratio will look to hold 4 players strong. He's on the angle. Boombot comes out. Drone going to be spotted here in this default position. Flash, maybe Fault Line ready for this. No, it's an Aftershock to try and stop that push. Fault Line from the opposite side. Paint shells to the feet of Drone. Oxy stunned up, but he's still finding frags, and it's Dark Ratio doing everything they can to try and hang on. Now it's all up to Rooney. versus Ainge in a 1v1, both healthy, but time is of the essence, and Ainge is just backed away inside the nebulous smoke. It subsides, and Rooney's expecting the ring around the rosy. Shots surely to come through the boxes. Rooney tries to stick to the fuse. He's looking to go all the way, but Ainge won't allow it.
Listen, if you don't remember that 1v3 that Ainge had way before in the first half, you know, you gotta trust in the Ainge effect. Like, he 100% had that on lockdown, I believe, especially since time was of the essence there. So Rudy literally had to get on that spike and defuse it, or else things would have gone, I mean, pretty much 380 there. So things looking good for Soniqs. I mean, not Soniqs, my apologies. Here for Dark Ratio, but Soniqs taking this time out to you know, kind of regather their thoughts. But once again, I really do think it's the you know, the composition that they picked. Not too good with that kind of like hold.
Yeah, I mean, but what do we usually see on the inverse? I feel like the only thing that we see played anywhere else is not Astra. Right? Maybe, I guess Breach Sky, maybe, but I feel Fade is really starting to become just as much of a mainstay on this map. The Neon, obviously, I don't feel even between these two teams that the Neon would really kind of would slot in better than the Rays, because we're not seeing, you know, these fault lines and space being taken. Well, from either side, we didn't really see that. We thought Dark Ratio was being incredibly passive with it, but Soniqs, they're doing the same thing. They're tossing it out, sure, but they're just staying put.
I do think they're playing really heavily into the defense role. Hey, we're defending. Let's defend. But more so, you know, obviously sometimes you got to fight a little bit heavier for your side of the site. So definitely a big factor in that. But if they're not going to play like that, you know, then why not invest more so in a different type of composition? Because if you're going to play more so for the defense and try to get the stall-outs, if you don't have that stall util, what are you playing for at this point? I feel like, you know, they really do need to get heavy on this.
And if you are going to play a bit safer, once you have the information as to where this Dark Ratio squad is looking to land, give it up. Save that util, right? You know, you just got Prowler to yourself. You don't necessarily have to toss out that Prowler for that information. Is that information important to your squad?
No.
Right now, I think is the question that you should be asking yourself. And maybe look to hang on to some of that in the retake. Boombot queued up for just a second. A few players around the corner, and PR are about to be in a bad spot. Stun comes down. We'll see if the Rays can sneak away. He can for now. Paint Shell's out and over the top. He gets tagged up by the Hunt. Paint Shell's of his own, and Shonk actually collects one. It was Oxy flying through the Paint Shells. 2 kills for Pure R as the spam comes through. It's another frag with the Paint Shells. And just like that, Soniqs, we talked about the util, and they find a way to use it perfectly and eventually get themselves to map point.
At this point, it wasn't even a thrifty. It was like a util round where like the main thing that happened was that you threw out perfect util to give yourself a good conclusion. And like you said, save that util for later on. And that's what they did. Pure Art saving that paint shell for the fact that, okay, they're getting this entry and let me just throw this down, see how much damage I can get, because we do have these sheriffs. Ended up getting that 3K right away and trying to pressure them in there. So that was such a great strat. We need to see more of not being afraid to peek, not being afraid to throw that util, and more so just, I mean, right here, Sean getting ready for a stun up and allowing Pure R to kind of peek this.
And now for Dark Ratio, it was 7 rounds in a row, from 11-1 to 11-8. And if you didn't have to be perfect before, you absolutely have to do it now for the next 4 rounds. And what do they have to work with? It's a full buy into this round. The economy A-okay, quite possibly moving into the next should they take some casualties here in this. But the util tossed out, and they don't want to give up the site. They want to fight on it here. Crunchy going to toss out the Cosmic Divide to slow things down. Aftershock to clear out the graffiti angle. But no commitment just yet. And with that, the Spike looking to head elsewhere. Or maybe not. They regroup inside the lobby, and they're going to open that book and see what the battle plans are.
Backing off, Dark Ratio not playing here in the hands of Soniqs. Soniqs had a good read initially, but I feel like Dark Ratio realizing now that, You know, they've hit A one too many times and are trying to have that aren't trying to have that iteration kind of come into action here. Yeah, B site completely cleared off, and not any util either to kind of make sure that B site is there, right? You got one person on C, nobody watching mid, and that's gonna allow Giza with that opening.
Trick. Trying to be sneaky. Unfortunately gets caught out. And a 4v4 is where we've landed. No Cosmic Divide from Crunchy to try and help out in this defuse. Couple of kills away. Make it 1 kill away now is Pure from the Showstopper. Paint shell to clear. Close angles. Nothing to be had just yet as Crunchy plays out towards mid. No way the shots escape him. Giza able to capitalize. Oxy will find the next Pure with 3 kills on the round. And Giza will match for a 9th for Dark Ratio.
A nice quick round. Pretty much everybody just taking Soniqs out. So Dark Ratio, good read, really good read. A site, okay, we've been hitting this one too many times. They're pretty much, we've made some noise here. We've lured in as many people as we can. Let's go B. And now hearing that, okay, B site, you know, there was no trip there. They're probably going to transfer that over. So let's hit C. And I like this play. I like it a lot. There's not much to really rely off on that garage. And I mean, I feel like here they're going to try to push for that.
A Guardian, a Vandal. Ooh. It was a thrifty round in the last. There goes the Vandal. Sheriff shots to the body. Don't quite land for the kills, but does good damage. So maybe the util could make its way into this round and make a couple of kills happen. Meanwhile, Cosmic Divide to stop the push from the right side of the map. Meanwhile, on the flank... Okay, Giza's still going to hold the angle. They know that somebody could still be here. A little bit show. Nice headshot from Pure. One more, maybe. Nope, Mange won't allow it. Pure falls. Now it's all up to the Guardian and the Sheriff. Shank, 1 pip away from having that Rolling Thunder, but this spike in a really difficult spot. Flash comes out from Drone. Aftershock finds a kill. And now Rooney would need to pop 2 grapes, find a defuse, and here comes the dump. Unfortunately, that C's didn't quite land, but it should not make a difference here on the round. Only hoping to do some economic damage. Tap to 1 head.
Wow.
Can't find the next. Ainge too good. Ainge way too good on this attacking side.
Good. He is way too freaking good. You cannot give him the opportunity to take a 1v2, a 1v3. Nothing. Even if you throw a paint shell at him and he's stuck in a corner, he's still going to manage to take you out. Somehow, somewhere, some way. I don't understand it. He has such a big clutch factor, and it's amazing. Shank, though, loading up that Rolling Thunder, trying to get things rolling himself. So here is where things lie, right? We're already 10 to 12 coming from an 11 to 1, very far distance. Ooh.
That's what we were asking for. We were saying, hey, if you're going to fault line a lobby, fight for it. Right? Yeah. Take that space, and instead of being able to take the space, they take the life of Giza. Could not rendezvous in time, and now the C site, it's completely open, but it's because you mentioned it, Gomp, right? It's because of that Rolling Thunder. They have such a big piece of retake utility.
Yeah, retake util is going to look really solid here. Although, dangerous, because the quietness is so immense. Nobody knows from Soniqs. I'm pretty sure they are relying on that B or C. Yeah, Rolling Thunder comes through. Perfect opportunity for the push-up here.
Yeah, but the stars come down. So much util tossed out, and they just get nothing for it. Here comes the rocket on the outside, and it's not going to get anything. Ainge to sit down. Pure now looking for some more. As Trick plays inside the nebula. Smoke will be answered by Shank, who now only has 17 HP and will eventually fall to the hands of Oxy. And around that looks so good for just a second for Soniqs. Flips on its head, and Dark Ratio, they push us to the last round of regulation. And you have to assume we're headed to overtime.
Man, that was such a beautiful Rolling Thunder, too. Like, it was amazing. All because the smoke was put down. They didn't even want to test for it. Shank has flashes. Freaking Rooney has a growler to push you in. Pure has, like, anything. Anything could have been thrown out there, and they didn't. And so unfortunate, because that could have been the game changer. That could have changed the tides. That could have been Soniqs taking this to that second map. But instead, it's scared. It's being scared. It's not having that confidence that really gets you in a place where now you're 11 to 12 when you were originally 11 to 1.
Haven is an attacker-sided map. This is what I've been saying all along.
Take hold. No charges.
This is heartbreaking for Soniqs.
Yes.
They desperately, they yearn to be back in the upper bracket, and the only way to do it is through this series and into the grand finals. And they were looking to do it quickly. But just as quick as they found themselves, you know, 11-1 swapping sides, they are staring down the barrel of an 11-1 themselves, and Crunchy a little too aggressive, and he'll be punished for it.
Bring them down.
Now, and here it comes. A site once again. This is definitely a comfort site for Dark Ratio to hit. They know they can win this site 100%, and all they need is this one round. But will Pure give it away? Giza already taking that opening pick here with the up, and the confidence is booming. You can see Pure trying for the push-up. I mean, as these flashes come out, it's Oxy making their way onto the site very secretly and secure Pure, securing it regardless of the situation. And now it's that mid site there for Dark Ratio, a 2v3 type of scenario, and Trick now making it a 1v3.
Did I get inside your head?
And just like that, Compers.
Dude, come on.
sides.
I said it was possible. I'm a freaking fortune. I'm going, man. I'm on a high right now. I'm on a high.
I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was
Hey.
as perfect as you needed to be. It was Ainge grabbing his 4 children,
Dude.
kicking and screaming across the finish line
Oh my
to
God.
get us to overtime.
Ay.
And now we have a bit of an extra bit of a breather.
Dude.
That right there is absolutely heartbreaking, especially when, and you know, looking back on it, obviously we still have more map to play and anything can still happen, but looking back on it, you know, you're 11-1, and if you're Soniqs, maybe you are a bit more aggressive on some of these angles, right? You have a few rounds to play with, right? A few rounds to maybe instill fear in, you know, what the start of these rounds will look like from this Sonic side. But every round seemed to play out the same exact way, and Dark Ratio just had a good read on it. And then when it came down to the scramble for both of these teams, Dark Ratio, both of these teams on the attack.
Yeah.
You know, play in the scramble really well. They thrive in the chaos. They make it work. Whether it be, you know, 3Ks from Ainge or Oxy looking to hang on or Drone doing everything that he can.
Man.
Wow. What a map. What a map from Haven. And you know what? I was so afraid. At the beginning, I said, right, it was like 8-1, and I said, I thought this was going to be closer. Haven looks good for both of these teams, and now we're here.
Listen, I had some trust. I once again, seriously, it's just the way these players play. It's Soniqs literally, I mean, actually playing like Dark Ratio on the defense. And, you know, shouldn't you learn from what you just succeeded? I feel like they should have known what they should be doing differently, and they didn't really. Honestly, I felt like they didn't adapt. I felt like they were trying for different strats, but more obediently in a way where they wouldn't get picked off so early, but then they ended up getting picked off early, and it was like, man, we need something different. We need something like dramatically different from what we're seeing, because we literally just saw this. And I mean, here, Dark Ratio coming back on defense, will they learn from their mistakes?
Yeah, the problem is now you don't have.
Ay.
There's no wiggle room. There's no wiggle room.
No.
At all. And I think what we've seen is that the team that, you know, wins on defense has the chance to win because the attacking side had been so prominent for both of these squads.
Ooh. Things are going to look rough here. Giza's pulling out the op, trusting in the ability to not get picked off so early. So, and look at that, right? If we're looking at everything that's happening here, look at the mini map. We see already they're doing something different. They're pushing up mid. They're going for an aggressive approach. And in all honesty, I think this is going to work out.
Holding a couple of angles. Beautiful flash throw here.
Yeah.
And this is what we expect, right? The attacking side to be able to capitalize. And that's exactly what Soniqs do early.
Man. Already down in a couple seconds. It's hard to make a decision at this point, because you don't necessarily know. You know, we know defense is the weakness of both of these teams, but to what extent? Who will be able to prevail from this type of just really big issue? C site completely cleared up, and they're not even pushing yet because Soniqs want to be sure that they have these smokes prepared and ready for trial here.
And this is the tried and true Soniqs 5-man C long, but it's different than what we saw prior, right? It comes after defaulting a bit. Then they look to hit this C site, which is unlike what they've done previously. They would look to hit the C site early in the rounds, toss out some util, and then again, you know, try and work inside the chaos. So Dark Ratio just not ready for it at all, expecting for a late play out towards A, and instead they're working their way all the way across the map, clearing every angle, and that spike is planted, Gompers. They don't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah, not as much time at all, but a lot of util to use if we're looking at it. Well, 1 star here for Crunchy, but that 1 star could honestly be a pretty big game changer, clearing out any angle that you typically would like. Trick already trying to move themselves up down the flank, and the only problem is that there is going to be that smoke really guiding them away. Tons of picks already in a matter of seconds. You literally looking at the kill feed, it was like 4 showing up at the same time. Pretty much over. Dang. Well,
we can't, it's nothing to write home about just yet, right? We saw both of these teams put up 11 on their attacking side. What's a 12th in overtime? You know, now Dark Ratio just have to do the same. What is going to be really impressive is if Soniqs can find a way to close this one out. And also, I think a mention to Soniqs working alongside Avino, who was previously coaching for DNA Div. I don't know if this is maybe the best showing or the, you know, not being able to close out 11-1, but either way, they've got another mind on the server to try and help them out as Enjoy force a TP nice and early, courtesy of the Fade utility from Tricks. That operator going to be across the map and on the opposite side of where Dark Ratio are leaning.
Yeah, still, once again, just playing into what we see from Dark Ratio all the time. It's going to be that haste site hit, but is this a mistake if we're looking at it? Because Soniqs, they know this, right? They've seen this plenty of times before. They're already preparing for it. And Trick, not really having much left, right? They throw some of that util down. Now it's up to that Preller to give them that heavy information, but maybe more so. Actually, interesting. I think they went more for... No, I thought they were going to rotate and go for more of that rotation that they're trying to guide here, but... Yeah, seems like they're just wasting a ton of util just to leave.
And this, I mean, this bodes well for Soniqs. This is the one time where, you know, playing safe, playing default, 5-point stance across the map on defense, and not looking to take space, works in your favor. You don't give up anything early. You have all 5 alive. Now you have information. Ooh, okay, never mind. Aftershock, gonna delay for just a second. 20 seconds on the clock should still be enough. Fault line comes through. Okay, a gravity well, but one in response to pull drone back. But it didn't matter. Seas comes out, paint shells goes through, the spike gets planted. That right there is the big picture here for Dark Ratio. They lose a player, but they get one right back. The odds are even in a 4v4 as the spike is down.
If Pure managed to win them this round, that's the question, right? Pure getting the 3K, and initially it was that first-hand paint shell that gave them this lead. Now it's up to Crunchy, but is Crunchy going to pull up? I mean, they pulled up, but Kisa said there is no after party. All right, it's just 13-13. Tanner, I don't know, man. It's like I don't know anymore. I had the right pick 'em in the beginning. And then now we're here, so.
And now we're here. And you know what? Twice we've seen this utility not quite be ready for Soniqs, and the spike gets planted. We saw it in, I don't remember if it was round 24. I don't remember. 24, the last round of regulation or the round prior, where they hit that rolling thunder, but the spike still gets planted, which means at that point, you know, if you're not hitting the site, that's perfect for Dark Ratio. Same thing happens there. The paint shells come a millisecond too late, and that spike goes down. And even though losing a player, Dark Ratio, they still can have that sigh of relief because there was 20 seconds when that spike got planted. You killed a planter in drone, you know, a second earlier, the spike is down and the scramble is still happening. So, the attacking side still being the stronger side for both of these teams. Giza will fall to Crunchy, however, and with that, Soniqs think it's safe to hit this C site. They're not ready for a couple of players to be here. Hunt dealt with. Stars back site, both drone And Ange, you're
Ooh.
holding this one down and through the nebula smoke. Heaps of damage onto Pure, and a frag found by Ange.
Oh, and they're just feeding themselves to Dark Ratio at this point. This is good. This is a very big change of pace from Dark Ratio here in the defense. They might have actually just given themselves more of that advantage. The only issue is that Pure has this up coming onto that A side. The entry is going to be a lot harder because watching that CT side. Oh no, but they're not very wary of the flank.
And nothing to tell them.
No.
Nothing to tell them of this flank. And I believe Trick in a position where he's starting to hear the footsteps. The angle will be held only 10 seconds. So you see Dark Ratio, they want to go quick with it. No way. Allowed to survive was Trick. He runs right through and Pure wasn't ready on the angle. And they're corralled. The two attackers here. This could be it. The defender's finding around. The operator picks up one, but it'll fall in the next. Two players on the flank. And Drone and Ange. They were holding down the C site. Now they look to take the A site. And that's exactly what will happen. Dark Ratio grabbed the lead on their defensive side here in OT2.
Oh, and the mental's definitely like a little bit draining here for Soniqs because you got a team that just like had 6 rounds in a row on you when you were trying to be on that defense, and now Soniqs are put in a position where they're not comfortable. They're gonna have to switch up something or just play as safely as they do, play into the same strats as they typically do, and then hope this time it works. But I mean, at this point, Dark Ratio is in such a good position. They finally were able to pick something up on the defense, a position that was very hard for them to be able to even succeed in. And now, I mean, they're putting all that pressure on Soniqs. Soniqs have to have a really big, hard, heavy mental here.
Got the spike.
Paint Joe's out and over the top of A main. A new look to the start of these rounds, but yields no success. Crunchy now going to try and play around the nebulas, but he gets flashed up as he walks into one, completely blinded. And well, with open arms, Oxy was waiting and will net the first kill on the round. Dark Ratio seemingly have come back from an 11-1 deficit, and in OT2 have set themselves up to steal this map.
Yeah. Ooh, psych taken. They did take out Crunchy, but Soniqs is going to eliminate majority here. It's a 3v3, so in terms of that, Ange not having any stars, Giza not having any util, Drone only really having the fault line to use, and they're sitting down inside of this long, so that is all they have left. If they don't peek off this and take these picks, there is going to be a situation at hand, but Giza with a flank along. Will it work? You got two people really trying to pressure these in. The damage is immense. It's up to Giza to take